Good AM, PM, ladies and gents, welcome to the pilot episode of Stercus Occurrit, the podcast where shit happens. Indeed, that is what it stands for. It's Latin for shit happens. We're a bunch of what was it? We're a bunch of stupid college kids with
Average IQs.
big dreams and average IQs. There you go. You know, we're terrible at life, but we make up for it by being extraordinarily average in everything else. My name is Kobe Arbis, coming at you, not live at all from Kyoto, Japan, in my shitty apartment in the middle of nowhere.
Oh fudge!
Guys,
okay.
that's your cue, guys.
No, I'm here. So my name is Bobby Wilson, coming at you from the Philippines, specifically in the town of Alabang.
You're not from fucking Alabama. Oh my god.
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Yes, I
fair.
am.
I guess so. You're ethnically Alabangese.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, right? I live in the border between Alabang and Las Piñas, so it's like where do I live?
Yeah.
Buddy, Alabang City, but okay.
Alabang City.
No, they fucking wish.
But anyways,
Alabang
so
City.
yeah, I live in a sleazy old village around Danghari. It's like a road where you
It's
can visit different villages and all that stuff. So yeah,
So yeah,
what's good?
my name's Joby and I live in Paranaque. So yeah, it's
represent.
it's such a shit place, honestly, dude.
Fuck you, man.
like when you step out of your fucking house, you would die already.
Shut up, bitch. Fuck you. That's because you're stupid. That's why you died. If you're not
Anyway,
stupid, you have fun.
so welcome,
Anyway.
welcome.
All right, welcome, guys. So for one thing, disclaimer: I am currently drinking alcohol. I figured that is how I make myself sound 10 times more interesting than I am. I get drunk. I'm currently drinking Sapporo beer. The perfect balance between malt and hops gives you a great drinking experience from the very first sip to the last.
Dude, it's like
I
we're
should-
sponsored, but we're not.
I should hope so, because like this shit's pretty expensive. It's not bad, to be honest. It tastes pretty good.
Dude, I'm eating brownies right now.
We have to drink responsibly.
I mean, actually, to be honest, I'm not even supposed to drink here. The legal age of consent in Japan is 20, and I'm out here drinking and smoking and fucking peeing in the streets. So whatever.
Just like a
Well, technically, you're not a Japanese citizen, so you have a pass.
Ooh, that is true. I have
You have the foreigner pass. I don't want to
I
see.
have-
what the fuck? There's a pass.
I have the pass, the G word pass. I'm thinking of the Gaijin pass. It's true. It's true though. You know, living here is fucking insane, because like, if there's any country where like white privilege is an actual thing, not saying it isn't, but if it's like blatantly obvious, it's here, dude. Like, you walk into a store and you start going off in English, everyone gets scared. Then they just give you what you want. it's kind of sad, to be honest, but you know, whatever.
Gotta maximize
They
you feel
gotta-
what you don't understand.
man, like-
you know?
To be fair, I mean,
You just got over.
yeah, my internet is bad. To be fair, globalization is on its way. There's no excuse not to know English. Oh, don't hurt me.
Because of globalization, they're taking out Filipino out of like college. I'm just like, why though?
Yeah, that's the thing. But my university said that they will be teaching Filipino, even despite the act that has been passed or been approved. So yeah.
Yeah, for us DLSU students, we're still like pushing through with Filipino. We want that shit, man. Like
Yeah,
Technically,
I get you.
Filipinos, our identity as Filipinos. It's our language. You know?
Let's just say Tagalog, because
No,
that's
here's
the dialect. That's the dialect we speak.
Not necessarily.
not necessarily.
It's now Filipino.
It's Filipino already.
Yeah. See?
Well, it's in the form. In the forms, I feel like this still says Tagalog, so I'll probably keep on using Tagalog.
Yeah, but it's kind of you're, like when you talk to people, it's like misguiding people, misinformation. So
I guess. Well, the thing is, like, I mean, I go to an international school. I think they really care, to be honest. They just refer to it as the monkey dialect. So
what the fuck, dude? That's kind of offensive.
shit. No, but like whatever. They're
At
cool.
least
They're
we're
cool.
bilingual, so at least we can use that to our advantage. So.
That is true. We're trilingual.
Well,
Where
yeah,
my Latin?
trilingual, yeah, Latin. So
Ecce in pictura, espuela, romana, nomine, Cornelia. Salve Regina, Mater Misericordia. Am I right, boys? Hell,
puta.
I'm
Hell yeah, baby.
Pater Noster quiz in Sanctificator, nomen
Stop saying our
tuum.
Father, guys.
Ave Maria.
Whole Hail Mary.
Napupunta
Mata-
ka ng
Mata-
grasya. I forgot.
That's
What
fucking
the hell,
Filipino,
man?
dude.
Ang
You're
Panginoon
right.
sumasayo. Bukod kang pinagpala sa babaeng lahat.
Salve Regina.
Anyway, so are you guys drinking anything, or is it just me?
That's
Eating
just you,
brownies, man.
Weed brownies?
No,
Uh,
brownies from the States, man. I mean,
So
like,
weed brownies.
what's the difference though?
Yeah, that's what I thought, bitch. That's illegal. You're gonna get
It's
shot.
not weed. God damn.
Alright, so let's do some small talk, boys. How was your days? How was your week, actually?
Joby, you go first.
Why me? Anyway, yeah, I've been studying a lot lately, cause
Oh, that's
fuck
good.
life.
I understand that life is of a big fucking poo poo. When life gives you lemons, you
What, you make
Can-
lemons out of it? You make a lemonade?
I don't know. I'd probably just realistically, if someone threw a lemon at me, I'd probably just throw it back at them and tell them to go fuck themselves or something. But It's not
That
like-
reminds me of what happened when I was in the States before.
someone threw a lemon at you.
No. Someone no. No. My cousin and I were out taking a walk, and then there was this guy with his dog. And then he let his dog take a shit in his garden. So
Nice.
what we did, we got the shit and we threw at him. So
You're an asshole. You know that.
well, he's an asshole.
That
Like-
kind of sucks.
I mean, it's like courtesy not to shit on someone's lawn, like when they're right in front of you.
Well,
Like,
I
okay,
mean,
if you're going to shit at someone's lawn and they're right there, would you do it or no?
okay. First of all, I'm not a fucking dog.
I mean, like, okay, it's an urgent matter. There's no forest or shit nearby.
I'd probably just realistically
Hold it in?
Yeah, I'm really good at.
Yeah, but when it really wants to get out already.
Okay. If I can hold it in, I must, because we were raised to be better than this, Joby. Do you not pride yourself in your human status? You are better than the animal. I can't believe. I can't believe billions of years of evolution led to this piece of shit. God. Damn, dude, you're like a fucking antithesis to evolution. I can't believe it.
Anyway, so
Anyway.
Bobby, how's your week
Alright,
lately?
so my week is very tiring, to be honest. Like I had to do my research or my paper basically. It's really hassle because it's about Filipino, but in chemistry.
Chemistry in
tackle the-
Filipino.
Yeah, chemistry in Filipino. Because
That would give you
our
a
subject
nosebleed.
is called GFILI or General Filipino. And basically, our professor wants us to like write a paper about it, you know.
Oh, Christ.
And the paper we chose, or the topic we chose for our paper, was the proficiency of what you call it? Proficiency of chemistry. No. I can't.
Chemistry.
Let me.
Chemistry.
The proficiency of senior high students in chemistry in the Filipino language.
Ooh, that's
So yeah.
that's
So we're-
that's. What's your sample space, man? That's like fucking huge, though.
senior high students, well, mostly in DLSU. So
Okay.
our sample space is like 4 classes from STEM and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So
So
and
you've been
I'm
doing
basically the
alcohol.
one. I'm basically the one doing chapter 4 and shit.
We not everyone underwent the same methodology we did explain with chapter 4 is actually now do it data analysis.
Mm.
It's like the fucking like second to the last part of a research paper. That's another thing, folks, to those listening here. Yeah, we were baptized by fire in our high school. We all had to publish tons of research papers. Submit, but some were published. The select few that were really good, like mine. But
You're not gonna self-plug yours?
I'm plugging mine. Yeah, you can turn up to Power of Southridge and talk to the management. They'll probably have it in a folder somewhere. It's entitled. Or actually, it's a long title. Just ask for the one about janitors. They'll find it for you. Well, yeah, I remember that like one of the papers we had to do was a bilingual one. We had to write a research in English and Tagalog for Sarao. Sorry, Filipino.
So
English and Filipino, wikang Filipino for professor na he wishes Mr. Sir. I'm sorry, sir. Mr. Sir. Mr. Sarau's class and like yeah, he's our Filipino teacher. We had to write a full paper in English and Filipino. That paper, the one my group submitted, was actually a flop. It went badly. But we learned from our mistakes.
it's really sad.
Yeah, we bit off more than we can chew. Literally, we failed to define our sample space, and they called us out. So yeah. Anyway, so my week has been busy. Life in Japan is, to be very honest with you, not that pleasant.
Why not?
Where do I start? First of all, language barrier. Oh god. Second of all, everything's so fucking expensive. So the whole week I was dealing with
Financial.
The-
Finance.
so finances tight because everything's so expensive here at food and rent and utilities, and I had to pay my health insurance as well. Not to mention, I recently just moved out of my old dormitory. I'm in a new apartment now. It's quite far from where my old dormitory was. It's about 5 kilometers away. Normally it wouldn't be a problem, but I have to bike uphill, and that shit
Ah.
tired. That shit tired.
That shit's tiring, man.
What's this? Japan is notorious for having Japan's notorious for having really thick red tape. So I had to visit. So Japan's divided into, the cities are usually divided into wards, and each ward has an office, and each office has a different bureaucracy. So what I did was I had to go to the ward office of my old dormitory. I had to get them to give me this certificate that says I am no longer in that ward, and
That's so
I had to go
hassle.
to my new ward office's dormitory. My new dorm, and I had to tell them that I am now in this ward. And the whole process is actually a lot longer. It's a lot longer than it sounds. It sounds like really simple and easy and whatnot. But the whole process took me about like maybe 3 days, and also because like I have to juggle it with classes. The ward offices close really early. They stop working at like 4, and it's like I get out of
That's
class,
so
and
hassle.
so like when I'm free, I haul ass, and not to mention the whole time it's raining, so that sucks.
Uh,
Well, on the bright side though, I got a job.
hey,
So, what's your job, man?
yeah, what's your job?
So this website called Taiken Japan.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's basically like something like BuzzFeed but better. They write articles about Japan that are catered towards filthy gaijin and tourists running around, like me. So I applied for a writing position, and they said that there were too many people in Kyoto to give me a slot. Because yeah, so what they told me was shit. We'll hook you up if you're good enough. We'll probably promote you. And I'm like, oh shit, nice, thanks. So yeah, currently awaiting my first assignment. Hell yeah, can't wait to make that bread and buy myself
Don't you think this would
another
affect
beer.
your academic
Hmm?
life or some shit?
Okay, no, because I am actually not struggling academically. There's work to be done every day, but the thing is, like, I have developed for myself a methodology of deriving some sort of twisted pleasure from doing work, and let me explain.
Yo,
Hmm.
fire, fuego.
So I believe that if you're good at something, like literally anything, any
Don't
any
do it
sort
for
of
free.
any sort of discipline, right? I believe that if you are a master of like anything, you will find a way to synthesize something that is apparently completely unrelated into that discipline. Essentially, you make yourself give a shit about something. So say like I'm into philosophy, right? I will find a way to make shit around me that is obviously not philosophy relevant to philosophy, relevant to something I give a shit about. So it's like I'm making this I want to say it's dialectic, but you guys probably it's a Venn diagram. I'm making a Venn diagram in my head. Like there's this shit that's like I care about and shit I don't care about, and they converge in the middle, and that middle is where I derive my twisted pleasure. So if you ask me, I don't like schoolwork. I'd rather have none, but I believe that everything I do is conducive to my self-actualization. So. Mhm. Yep. That's
No,
that's that self-actualization train has breaks. So yeah, will it affect me academically? Probably not. Hopefully not.
hopefully not.
Anyway, so today's topic, something we can all in some input on. Let's talk about movies. Let's talk about the current state of Hollywood right now. There's a lot of shit to talk, honestly, because I don't know if anyone can say anything truly positive about the environment we're in. You have Disney shitting out reboot after reboot after reboot, and you have Marvel shitting out
Swear.
Marvel movies. I honestly I honestly need to be honest here. Hold on to your horses, because you might not believe this, but I do not give a shit about Marvel.
No. For
I
me,
really.
I just enjoy Marvel movies, like as it is, but it's not like I'll die.
I'm
I'm
not a
not like a
diehard fan.
diehard fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a diehard fan. Like I've seen so many people like, oh my god, Marvel's the best. Oh my god, all that stuff, and I'm just like,
Wakanda
all right.
forever.
Oh god. Okay, like Marvel has lost all its meaning after Thanos died. Let me just say, like,
I will agree.
when I watch uh, media like boring, inane, like predictable media like Marvel, I often enjoy rooting for the villain, because I know they're gonna lose anyway, but I want to see how well they will lose. It's like will they lose with any dignity, or will how well will they fucking get their ass wiped? Will they put up a fight? will they die like with honor, or are they just scum that you'll forget about after a week? So Marvel has traditionally been like really really garbage at writing villains. I think we all know that.
Okay.
What's the name of that dumbass in the second Thor movie? Fuck if I know.
Thor?
The second Thor movie, the elf boy. I forgot his fucking name. He was there. He did something, but he's not there anymore. I think he died. No, not the actor, but him, and canonically. Does anyone remember the bad guy and any bad guy from Ant-Man?
No.
I
To be
forgot their
honest.
fucking names. There's bitch who could like go through walls. That's it.
Bobby,
That's all.
you want a chemistry joke for Marvel?
What?
Ether.
What about Ethan?
Haha.
I don't get it, but
That's not
whatever.
that funny. It's not that clever.
I know, dude.
I've seen shitty memes better than that. Like, holy shit. Get good, man.
Oh God.
That's the point of the joke. It's not even supposed to be funny, dude. Anyway,
I'm
you were
I'm
saying Kobe.
too fucking ignorant in the field to get it. Anyway, so yeah. The new Spider-Man came out. Every single girl I know is getting crazy over Tom Holland. He's he's. I have no strong opinions about Tom Holland.
I mean,
Okay,
meh?
I'll give him this. I guess he's a good Spider-Man. Like he's better than Andrew Garfield, but man, Tobey Maguire's got a place in my heart. I mean, I fucking love Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, but like, I'll be honest with you, dude. Like, I have no reason to hop on this new age Marvel bandwagon now that my boy Thanos is dead. Thanos gave meaning to my life. I'm just saying. This shouldn't be a monologue. You guys should probably talk.
Wait, give me a moment. I'm still doing some of that research because my group mates are.
Jesus
bit-
Christ, I don't understand why you're doing, but whatever. I distinctly remember asking you if you were free, but okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm-
No.
I'm-
No. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm really.
No. It's okay. It's okay.
Dude, it
I
kind
really-
of died
No,
off when we
it's-
stopped
it's
talking
okay.
about Buzz Lightyear, dude.
Oh shit! Oh yeah, Toy Story was a thing that came out. So as if Disney wasn't selling out more than it was already. You have Pixar making Toy Story 4, which they really didn't need to do. I understand that among the three of us,
You cutting off.
my fucking internet. I understand that among the three of us, only Joby's seen it.
Yeah, dude, like it should have totally ended with Toy Story 3. Like they were totally selling out for Toy Story 4.
Right. So spoiler.
funny. But
Spoiler alert, viewers. Actually, no. Let's not talk about this. The viewers might get their asses spoiled. Anyway, but like, let me just say that like.
I mean, like, what's there to spoil? I mean, like in the old movies, like, oh, someone will leave, and then old toys, will be given to a new kid. All those stuff. So what's there to spoil? It's like the same shit all over again.
Well, yeah, I guess so. The thing is, like, I'm not a fan of the sort of values that they're trying to tell the kids nowadays. I never grew up on Toy Story because I thought Toy Story, the first two movies, were the scariest things I've ever seen in my life. I was scared of Woody, dude. Like the shape of his head fucking got me, and like the scenes where he just fucking ragdolls on the floor. I was like, oh god.
Actually, in the movie, I don't know. Should I spoil it?
Actually, to be honest, like, yeah, when Woody ragdolls, I just go like, oh,
It's like
disgusting.
Remember
Like-
the scene where when Sid was playing with Silla Woody, and
Yeah.
with the other toys. That was the scariest part for me.
Oh yeah,
I was scared of that part.
the fucking baby with the spider,
Yeah,
the spider baby, the
yeah.
spider baby was
And the
like, oh
pterodactyl
shit,
with the what do you call it? The girl's
the
lower
pterodactyl
half.
doll.
Yeah.
Dude, spider baby fucked me up, man. Like, okay, so I did grow up though on Finding Nemo.
There's a snake in
Uh,
my boot. Yeah, dude,
there's a s-
they were selling off for Finding
yeah,
Dory.
Finding Dory was like one of the biggest sellouts I've ever watched in my life. But aside from that, Finding Nemo was like there's a special place in my heart for Finding Nemo, because it was one of the first movies I ever watched, and a dumb fucking baby, and as a dumb fucking baby, the shit that I watch, everything I consume ends up being part of my development. So Finding Nemo had a good message, about like not fucking your parents over for a start, like
I always like I was so curious about what happened to Nemo's mom, and then when I saw about it, like, oh, that's what happened.
Nemo's mom's fucking dead, yo.
Yeah, she was eaten by a shark or by a bigger fish.
Uh, Barracuda.
Barracuda.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
So yeah, you know what they say, Stercus Occurrit.
Yeah, indeed. Stercus hella occurrited. I forgot what the past tense of occurred was. Oh god, Stercus did hella occurred, for that dumb fish boy. But that movie has a place in my heart, and like it stuck to me for years, if not till this day. Just appreciating what your OG mama and papa do for you.
God bless our parents, indeed.
That's a skill that I think a lot of people don't have. Not a skill, like a trait, just appreciating their parents and shit. But like growing up, that shit was important, especially when you hit puberty and everyone fucking sucks by default. That's how it goes. And
It be do.
There's like a Filipino version of If They Do. Like it's kind of funny. I forgot.
Eddie Wow, diba? Oh,
No,
Even
it's
better
not
than that.
What
I
they do.
mean, ganun lang minsan.
Even I don't know.
Ganun lang minsan, I guess.
Ganun lang minsan.
I
Ganun
guess
lang
so.
minsan. Ganun lang minsan.
Yeah, so Toy Story, right? If I recall, for the first two movies, like if I could take away any virtue, the two of them, any lesson, it would probably be something about like knowing who you're. Okay, the first one had a lot of connotations about being open to people, being accepting of change, positive change, like how Buzz Lightyear was like, and like just stop being jealous, like Woody. Like each character goes through a development. Buzz Lightyear learns how to stop being such a prick, and Woody learns how to stop being such a prick.
They made Buzz Lightyear like a fucking idiot in Toy Story 4. Like he
I
went
mean,
back to his old self.
Oh shit,
Like
dude.
he was like he came out fresh from the box.
Mm.
So they like in the story he was like Woody was like, oh, listen to your inner voice, and then Buzz was like, what's an inner voice? I'm like, what the fuck.
The first three Toy Stories, yeah, like the emotional impact was definitely there, especially the third one. The third one, I have about it, but I think generally speaking, I love the third one. And like it got you. The end got to you.
Yeah, the end got me there.
This new one, the message that is teach kids.
Oh, shit.
I'm not sure I like where it's going. Especially the end. I won't spoil anything, but yeah, we'll have a spoiler-free discussion of this someday. So like, yeah, fucking Toy Story, man. Disney has been shitting out reboot after recently, right? So Aladdin came out recently, and everyone that I know in Japan has probably made up an excuse to go see it. But the thing is, I don't. It's probably not that good.
Dude, I heard there's another reboot coming soon. You know, Mulan.
They're rebooting Mulan now
Like there are
Really?
rumors
again.
like for like live action.
And then everyone's waiting fucking Dumbo right now. Nah,
Ew.
fucking stupid elephant boy. So yeah, Dumbo's a thing. Mulan. Milan thing.
They should just let it die.
I mean, Disney is selling out so hard, and like I was talking to a friend about this, and he mentioned that it was trying to. They are working with the assumption that they're not trying to cater towards kids now, because the kids now probably won't give a shit about Dumbo or Sleeping Beauty or Cinderella or whatever. They don't care. That they're catering to all of the adults who are hankering for that nostalgia bit. That's why they make no effort to to change the story, to change the theme of any of their reboots.
We've been bashing
Yeah, we
movie.
are. We are bashing the state of Hollywood right now is actually so fucking bad. It's so fucking bad. All the major companies are just selling out. At least Marvel. As much as I really don't like the Marvel hype train, it's not so much that Marvel produces bad movies, because consistently they've been very good quality. It's just that the company that Marvel works for is pretty bad. Disney. I just wanted to segue to talk shit about Disney, to be honest, because like right now they're not very cool, to say the least.
Yes. Not yet.
So I really don't understand why no one is talking. I might as well just monologue.
I'm sorry. I told you I'm like
The
working.
thing, you know what else we can bash with? DC.
What?
Well,
What
no
was
one,
the
no one
last
cares about
Disney movie
DC.
that came out?
DC,
What was the last movie that came out from the DC? I forget.
Shazam. They
Oh,
said
yeah,
they said Shazam was nice. I haven't
Yeah,
seen it
I've
though.
heard I've heard it was decent, but like I haven't seen it either, because like watching movies in Japan's kind of a pain in the ass. It's fucking expensive. Like for one movie in Japan can buy you like fucking 5 seats in the Philippines.
Well,
Yeah. So this is a shitty pilot.
I guess
Meta met,
I'm very sorry. I'm not in my A game right now.
meta
I'm really
commentary.
not.
Meta commentary. This pilot sucks, but it's okay. I'll make it interesting someday.
I thought you were drinking alcohol.
I am, but
It's not kicking
I'm
in.
dr- I'm drinking way too slowly. The way I get hit is that like I start losing my motor functions and
What?
backing out.
You lose your
It's
motor
that's
functions.
Yeah, you heard me right. Like
What
I
the fuck?
become like fucking completely at the mercy of my surroundings.
You
It's
become a
like
fucking plant. That's what.
essentially, yeah. I just fucking die.
Okay,
So
you're such a sentient being.
burp. Anyway, so let's talk about something interesting, right? Something that probably should not involve Bobby. And I'm joking. Don't hurt me.
Don't worry. No harm done.
Fucking lose. Anyway, yeah. So,
You know, our
it's
favorite transitional word is anyway.
yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway is regardless. So yeah, that's
So
another one.
yeah.
So yeah.
something
Nevertheless.
something someone we know who would use.
So yeah. Inside jokes. None of our listeners will get them. Anyway, I'm gonna spice this up and actually introduce something that our listeners can identify with, because I'm pretty sure that not all of them, not 100% of them, will give a shit about what Disney craps out. So I'm going to ask you all a question.
Yo.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And I want you all to reflect on what this question says, okay? Or it's not so much a question, but it's more of a quote, an aphorism, and I want you all to do a big
Whoa!
reaction.
You say that?
Okay.
All right.
Ready? Are you ready?
Start.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm trying to pull one out.
Where? Out of your ass?
Okay, now I'm my ass, but out of my big bad library of pretentious nonsense. So okay, I say and I quote: "Malice is rare. Most men are much too concerned with themselves to be malicious."
People are gonna start clicking away from this.
No, they should have clicked away like a million
No.
years ago.
I really love how you said no.
Okay, fine. Like in case malice is too big a word for you, fucking rat.
No.
It's the desire to
You.
do evil, basically. So,
I was joking. Everyone knows what malice fucking means. Like
are you
anyone.
No,
Who,
I don't think so.
really, I mean, like yeah.
Eh.
Anyone who listens to a podcast should at least have a native fluent level of English comprehension, because like let's be real, it's a fucking radio show essentially.
So
Like
what about those people who are studying in the like big universities, but they come from provinces and that they have little to no knowledge of English. So
I said people who listen to podcasts. Why would you click on a podcast that says Stercus Occurrit and expect like fucking
I don't know.
stupid
I don't know.
banal English?
Probably.
The tie doesn't fucking Latin. That's the most pretentious language in the world. Like,
I don't know. They were curious. Like, what does Stercus Occurrit? What's this shit?
no, it's fucking it's the ancient archaic Filipino word for learn English, fools. I'm just joking. You guys are doing fine as you are. Scholar ng bayan, go get him. Anyway, so
Sounds so fucking sarcastic.
yeah.
We're gonna get bashed out of this, dude.
Well, this is a dry run in that case for all intents and purposes, because like one of
Whatever,
our
dude.
hosts isn't.
Let's make it a
One of
fucking
our
formal.
one of our hosts is not completely here, and then we weren't able to extrapolate off a topic that well. But whatever, I will make this interesting. So okay, in case that quote was too long and ostentatious for some of you people, I will pull out an even shorter quote. Okay.
Okay.
And now you can all react to it. I know you won't react to it, Bobby, but Joby can react to it.
Can I?
Yeah, you're welcome. Let's talk about this. This is one of my favorite. Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom.
Oh, we talked about that.
Ah shit,
People
yeah,
will-
I love this
People
quote.
will click away from this now. Joke lang. Sorry, what? Anxiety was what?
People like you fucking anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. What are your thoughts? What do you think about it? Introduce a little
Philosophy by Viva Rock or something.
he wishes. God, that guy kind of pissed me off, but shh, don't let him know. Anyway, so what do you think about that quote, Joby? Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom.
Anxiety
Big,
is
big,
the dizziness.
big think. Take your time. It's a big quote.
Anxiety is the dizziness.
Like I'll help you out, man. Like listen, like for example, are you familiar with, generally speaking, do you know what anxiety is? Not the disorder, but just in general.
Not knowing.
Exactly. It's that idea that you don't understand. Not that you don't understand. I'm kind of drunk right now. It's that idea that you don't know. You are faced with the conundrum of uncertainty. That's essentially what it is, right?
Yes.
So anxiety, you have anxiety, and it is the dizziness of freedom. So now we have two more keywords: dizziness and freedom. So the thing about dizziness is that dizziness is not literal. Obviously, it's a fucking metaphor. so so dizziness refers to
Delusions or some shit.
not necessarily, but it's more of like dizziness is like the lack of direction. That's what it is, right? When you're dizzy, you don't know which way to go. essentially. You're just flumbering around like a you're just going off in whatever direction, but you don't know what you're doing. You have no control of what you're doing because you're dizzy. And when you say that anxiety is the dizziness of freedom, anxiety is essentially a limitation of how free you actually are. Because we can examine the nature of freedom as well, right? Because would you agree that would you say you are free if you are free to make decisions but not know the consequences of those decisions, for example?
I guess.
Right. I
What,
finished my thing.
what about you, Bobby?
All right. So, what was the question you proposed to
I
Joey?
was asking Joey what he thinks about this quote that anxiety is the
Right.
dizziness of freedom.
What was the follow-up question you had?
Like, like, do you believe that true freedom constitutes being able to know the consequences of your choices, or no, or not?
Okay. So let's go first with the quote itself. I would agree with Joby. Is that it's the fear of what you don't understand. Right.
Uh,
Uh,
Anxiety.
Anxiety is the
It's
what
not
again?
it's not a fear. It's worrying. It's a worrying
Uncertainty.
of, like, yeah, it's that uncomfortable
Feeling.
idea that you are faced with this like dichotomy of choice. It all boils down to a positive or negative application. Will you go through with the choice or not? That all choices boil down to that, right? And the thing is, like, when you say, for, will I go down this path? Going down this path will lead to an infinity of outcomes that you have no idea will result in whatever. And, like, not going down this path will also lead to an infinity of outcomes that you do not know will be whatever. You as a person cannot truly be familiar with what is going to be essentially beneficial to you, right? You are essentially just trapped in this conundrum of that idea that you need to make a choice. You don't know what's gonna happen, but you have to make it. You are faced with that uncertainty. So it's like it's a clamp on that idea of freedom, because you can't really be free if you were bound by this dichotomy of whether you make the choice or not. And also, since you cannot fully comprehend what will come after, the causality of your choices,
Yeah.
you it just adds it's just a choice because that is what you're assured of. Stagnancy is assured. You're just sitting, but, like, make a choice and then you move forward in front of you. Like, existentially speaking, that's what he says.
All right. So I get what you mean. So basically, anxiety is like you're being trapped in some sort of limbo because uh,
It's
if you don't have anxiety, you can do whatever you want, right? But when you have anxiety,
exactly.
you're really forced into a situation where it's
Mm.
either this or that. Like you said, the dichotomy.
Yeah, and, like, there's no way for you to be sure of what the choice.
Yeah.
Here's an example that here's an example of this question and action that all of you will be familiar.
Mm.
Fire.
That idea of heaven and hell. Realistically, the question of an afterlife is different from the question of God. So if there is a heaven, if there is a hell, there are so many unknowns about it that you cannot, like, fully understand, comprehend, right? Like, first of all, will you be happy in heaven? Will you be sad in hell? Why is that the case? Are they real in the first place? Is it just blackness after death? Is my religion wrong, and am I gonna go to hell either? Or am I gonna get reincarnated? Things like that, and this affects, this is a sort of moral theory that, oh god, moral theology that brings up
Ah, moral theology.
it suggests, therefore, right, like, that our decisions in life will have to lead to either one of those two goals. This is how a lot of people in at least the Catholic faith make decisions, right? Whether what they do is something that leads them to heaven or hell. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily, but then the thing is, they are all based around this idea that it leads them somewhere, but this is a somewhere that they cannot be notion of anxiety and action. Just because what if they're wrong? It's like this. There's a fucking. It's like there's a fucking like credit card on the floor. You want to pick it up. You want to you pick it up, and part of you is like, ah shit, I could use this, and another part of you is like, ah shit, I should return it.
Yeah.
So when you return it, you get nothing, but you keep it, you get a fuck ton of money if you manage to find his pin code, which shouldn't be that hard to be honest, and you're set. You know, you're essentially so fucking set for life because it's a credit card, and now and both choices will have their pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
Like essentially, if you decide to return it, assuming that heaven is real, you're one step closer there, baby. Go get him. And then, if you decide to use it, you could buy yourself a car or something. I don't know, a house.
Damn.
Well,
It was that too deep for you guys?
no, not really.
Yeah, because I could have
I can
gone.
follow.
I could
I
have
can
gone.
still follow.
I could have gone deeper, but I try not to. I have to. This is something I have to learn. I have to learn how to like stop being such a fucking
Nerd.
verbose asshole. I'm not a nerd. Oh my god, don't call me that. I'm not a nerd. Everyone says I'm a nerd. Like I cram schoolwork, man. Like I'm not a nerd. I'm hip and trendy like you guys. I'm a CG dude. Like I'm a king.
You kill
I'm a-
yourself.
no, hey,
No
asshole.
way. No way.
No, no, I'm nerd. Okay, just because I do a deep think every 20 minutes, I'm not a nerd. I asked that question to get a response from you
Hey,
guys,
what's
but
up?
I ended up just having to monologue my whole way through. So let's try something else. I'll try something that is ostensibly a lot simpler to comprehend. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Right.
I will
Alright.
hit you up. I will hit
Nice.
you up with a quote. And okay, this is interesting because
Stop saying that.
this is interesting because it segues into what we talked about earlier about Disney. Disneyization, yeah, that's a word. Disneyization replaces mundane blandness with spectacular experiences.
Come again?
Disneyization replaces mundane blandness with spectacular experiences. Mundane blandness, basically like that boring old shit you see every day. It replaces that with spectacular shit. Like fuck, that's so cool. Like, oh, you see that shit? That is fucking radical, yo. Damn. That's basically what it says.
Are you okay?
I'm drunk. I'm fucking drunk. What do you expect?
So basically, they're trying to glorify the, not really glorify, or like trying to sugarcoat, like life itself or something.
Essentially, yeah. It's sociological. This is how it's not really just Disney. I don't think it's only Disney. It's also a thing that is like in general, like I in order to appeal to an audience, you need to take something that they can relate to, so something that is like a mundane everyday thing. You take it and then you make it more interesting than it actually is, right? And then that's essentially how you get people to consume your product.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you essentially just like let's look at some case studies here, right? Like, okay, for a start, let's go to Disneyland, right? So Disneyland is honestly Disney World is honestly all image. Disney World is just image. The thing about Disney World is that behind the scenes, it's all just fucking engineering. It's all just fucking robotics. Aside from that, it's a fucking theme park. There's a million other theme parks in the world. But the thing about Disney World is that just because there's castles and fireworks and fairies and shit doesn't mean like it's fancy. It's because there's an association with the brand of Disney, and not just that, but it's because everyday shit in Disney World is transformed into something that's like fucking radical. That's why it's the happiest place on earth. It's like for example, it doesn't just apply to Disney World. It applies to like fucking like Universal Studios, right? I frequently go to the one here in Osaka. By frequently, I mean like twice a year. uh, the one in Osaka, right? So they do shit like, for example, you can, like in Harry Potter world, you can walk into the wand shop, and there's this thing where the guy who plays Ollivander, the wand merchant, chooses somebody, and that somebody is like, oh shit, I'm chosen. And they know in the back of their mind that they're not fucking chosen. It's all RNG. But at the same time, it's like the whole point is to sell them a wand, a wand that effectively functions as a universal remote. It's expensive, it's nifty, it's cool, but like essentially it's like, what's the what even, like, it really just is all marketing.
The
I really want you guys to input more.
dude, we're so dead right now.
Fuck you guys.
Fuck you. Dude.
Like seriously, I'm not my A game. You know me when we were doing the drive and Cody.
I think we can end it here. Actually, it's 15 minutes.
We should probably delete this episode and do it tomorrow if you guys are free.
We can end it here.
Yeah.
Or if you guys want, you can just be part of my solo project.
What's your solo project?
For a long time, actually, longer than Stercus Occurrit, I've been writing commentaries about shit I read, shit I see, shit I do, shit I think about. Sometimes I feel like I want to interview people.
Yeah, we can do that here in the podcast. So.
No, Stercus Occurrit is different because Stercus Occurrit is supposed to be a discussion based one. This one is more of like a Joe Rogan kind of thing, where I get people to talk about themselves. Yeah, if you guys know this podcast called Hi-Fi Nation, it's basically I think it used to be it was like a podcast for this really mainstream news network, like BuzzFeed, but it was actually really good. It's this guy who interviews everyday people. They're all random people. They're all citizens of the world with their own individual experiences, and he relates to philosophy. So it's basically like the philosophy of everyday people, like that the fucking janitor right down the street, or the prostitute in your brothel, or the construction worker, or the greedy Jewish businessman who is like, he interviews all of them and gets insight into their lives and how they think and all of that, and it's really interesting. I wanted to do something like that. It's like Joe Rogan, if you guys watch that.
Yeah, I watch him.
Yeah, essentially. It's the kind of thing I wanted to do. So, I wanted to make it circle back because like that's a topic that I actually really wanna explore, the universality of philosophy. Everything essentially will circle back to it. Like Bobby just earlier today, I was trying to get Joby to I was having a chemistry discussion with Joby.
Chemistry. Oh.
Yes, me. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Okay, Bobby.
Yeah.
Alkyne compounds.
Alkyne compounds. What about them?
Strictly speaking, they can only react to other organic compounds. Yes or no?
Oh wait, alkyne or alkaline?
Alkyne. Kyne.
Alkyne. Okay, alkyne compounds. Let me remember a bit of it. Alkyne. Uh,
It's not your field. I know it's organic. I know you do inorganic.
but yeah, alkyne compounds, they usually react with. Actually, they can react with oxides, sulfides, or other carbon-based compounds.
So essentially, everything it reacts with is strictly organic.
Yeah,
It,
or
it cannot react to anything that does not have
or
carbon.
not necessarily organic. It can still react with certain compounds like oxides, because oxides can react with a lot of things as well.
Mm,
You feel?
I get you. I get you.
And but to be honest, yeah, most of it can only react with other carbon-based compounds. So you're kind of right in that part.
Okay. Okay. So in other words, right? How this is relevant to is that like when you analyze what does it mean for multiple carbon bonds to form in a compound? What's the significance other than changing its reactivity? What is what practically speaking changes about the resulting compound, whether you have one bond, two bond, three bond, alkyne or alkane or whatever?
Okay, first of all, let's go. There are a lot of factors to come into it, but let's go to the basics ones first. Firstly, um, these compounds, when they combine with other carbon-based compounds, they obviously become heavier, which is innately it will have its own
Molecular weight.
properties. Like what?
Molecular
Mhm.
weight.
Yeah, molecular weight. So essentially, they become heavier, and when they become heavier, uh, it will be harder for them to bond. So yeah,
Mm.
so the more carbons that they have, the harder for it to bond. And other than that, depending on whatever compound you combine it with, it will produce uh it will produce either a compound that is a salt, which is not usually the case because most salts are not carbon based, but it it may have acidic or basic properties. That's the
Right.
thing. And usually that's what you go for in these types of compounds.
Yeah,
It's
Joby said something similar.
mm,
Yeah, I get it. I get it. So the thing is, in Joby's field, he is looking to see how these concepts relate to the concept of medicine, i.e., how these concepts essentially impact and influence change in the human body. How will this, however, relate to something more general, like in your field, Bobby?
how will
How
organic
will
compounds.
understanding the nature of organic compounds, how they react, how does this essentially boil to the how does this reflect the practicality of the concept in your field, because it's very clear cut in medical biology, but how about general chemistry?
General chemistry. Here's the thing. It's really important for us to know all types of compounds because you will be using it in a lot of experiments and uh, analyzation, especially knowing their properties.
Analysis,
It's
you mean,
in
right?
yeah. Like in sorry, I'm really subdued today.
Yeah.
Or
Analyzation.
I fucking know. Anyways,
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, sir. What's
yeah.
going on? Hell yeah.
No pressure, Spider.
We're not recording anymore. I don't think.
We are still so.
Oh, really? Nice, nice. This is interesting.
Okay.
Uh,
Give me a moment to compose. So, how does knowing these affect, like in my own field? Uh, in knowing organic compounds,
Hi.
it will help me not only analyze better, but like through their properties, I could utilize them in certain reactions.
Uh-huh.
Cause phenolphthalein.
Yep.
It's
I don't
it's
know phenolphthalein.
it's basically a pH meter
Yes. The
or
pink
pH
one, diba?
indicator. Yeah, the pink
Mm,
one, and that is an organic compound. If we don't have that, we'll not be able to determine the standardization of like certain acids and bases, right? And it's really important because it will help us determine the amount the compound has, and
yeah.
also the amount of the the concentration of the compound we're looking for. And through that, if we know that, we know what to do with it. That's essentially the basic gist of that.
Mm, I see, I see, I see. Okay, so that's interesting. That's interesting. How would you say this can apply to in a very I mean, okay, so you are a chemist after you graduate, after you get your fucking degree, your institution will spit you out into the world in order to make a change. So practically speaking, in let's use a very general business context, how would understanding these compounds help a business firm, a standard run of the mill business firm trying to get by selling something?
Selling something, pretend you're selling like a product or a chemical, like shampoo or something.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of like beauty products and health products involve a lot of organic compounds,
I
and
see.
a lot of the customers are always afraid of chemicals. That's why you gotta assure them that, yo,
It's
man,
safe.
this stuff's safe.
I see.
I'm a chemist. I can assure you that.
I can
Here,
A-
verify.
here.
any anything that therefore affects your body must also be carbon based, right?
Not necessarily.
Mm,
Ammonia is not carbon based, but it can kill you.
I see, I see, I see.
I
Okay.
mean, it's kind of simple. Most of the time, if it's not carbon based, it is dangerous to you.
That's
That's
why it's called inorganic.
I thought as much because I question really badly. I think what I was trying to say here is anything that influences change in your body is carbon based. Stopping your bodily
mm,
functions is not influencing change.
not necessarily.
No, not even. Okay.
Na, come
Nah,
on.
nah.
No, 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 no. Come on, come on, come on. Okay.
All right. Yeah,
Gone, gone.
that's all. That's all I gotta say, bro.
Is
Bro,
it?
Bro.
Is it? Okay,
Bro.
and okay, Bobby. Let me ask you a question. Do you have I'll ask you both of you a question just to fill up time in this podcast as well. And I think this is an interesting question that both of you may or may not like to answer. Do you have a personal philosophy that you go by when you go into your fields of study?
Personal
A
philosophy.
sort of
Yeah.
ethos, a way of thinking that that does not motivate you, but instead sort of like justifies the reason why you are doing X and X and X. Like, is there something that affects how you construct your methodology of
can
going
it be
about
like as
your
stupid as it
business?
could be?
Yeah, we don't judge here. A lot of philosophers are stupid, like Plato's a fucking idiot. Uh,
I don't know. Basta lang matapos, ganun.
uh,
Basta lang matapos and makatulong sa society. Basically, just finish what everyone, how do I say this? Just finish your education and help contribute to the society thing. So, that's
okay.
my
And
mindset. Because,
are you sure?
I think so. Because, I don't know. That's how life is. That's how life is. You come out of your mother's vagina and you go to school, work, and then you just die in a hole. So You know what I mean? Yeah.
All right.
Kobe. Hello. I think he crashed.
Yeah, you crashed.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh,
Oh, no,
there you
he's
go.
there.
There you Oh no. It turns
Sorry, you're cutting out.
Yeah.
uh yeah,
You're choppy as
my
fuck.
my fucking internet, dude. Oh my god, I'm gonna kill myself anyway. Yeah, so right. Uh yeah, you mentioned Bobby,
Hmm?
sir, you.
Oh, my personal philosophy.
I suppose so.
My personal philosophy is is about curiosity. It revolves around curiosity, and most of the time, it involves me satisfying that curiosity, and that's why I take chemistry, and maybe that's why I also like psychology in a way because I am very intrigued by human behavior and also composition of matter. That's very simple.
Well, yeah, I like the little smirk you did there. As if it's like that was impressive.
That wasn't impressive. That wasn't
I
impressive.
have about what you guys tell me. I have an analysis to share. Y-
What?
Right. So if, like, for a start, Joby, you started off by giving me a disclaimer by saying what you thought was stupid. You know what that insinuates? That insinuates you didn't think about it hard enough.
Yep. I didn't.
So parang you still need, and I understand where you're coming from. You're at that age where you are faced with the quandary of, what are you gonna do with your life? What are you living? Because the thing is, like, traditionally, I read somewhere in like a sociology or psychology paper, no, sociology paper, that by the time we're in our 20s, or approaching our 20s or early adult years, a lot of the questions we will ask about ourselves become very existential. It's a very dangerous sort of, like, um phase to be in if you're not prepared. And the thing is, the way you approach this question, I think, Joby, is no offense to you, but my analysis suggests that your answer to this question is to avoid it, because, and that may not necessarily be true, but the way I look at it now is because it's like, okay, you preface it by saying that your question is stupid. If it would have been different if you just said your answer, but you know for a fact that what you think is wrong, otherwise it wouldn't be stupid.
Ooh.
Well,
Right? Yeah.
you feel so
Yeah.
bold right now.
I make sense. I'm sabog, but I make sense. I am spitting out truth, and I
You do
feel the
make
feel.
sense, Kobe.
I
Hey,
feel the feel, but it feels the feel I feel. You feel?
what?
Okay, that didn't make sense, but you get what I'm saying. So also, aside from that, sir, the, you avoid the question by, because, okay, normally, when most people come of age to start questioning and be, more like, what the fuck is going on, especially since, we're talking about existentialism, right? That's the lens we're examining this from. It's existentialism is pop philosophy. It's existentialism is probably the second the most marketable philosophy in the world, aside, just next to stoicism. Bitches love stoicism. But what I'm saying here is that, right, like, it's a popular trend for people to adopt that mentality that they need to start crafting their own meaning and doing what they want. You're going to see a lot of, like, 50, 40 baby boomer year olds have this philosophy, not in the Philippines but in developed countries. I noticed that that's the norm. uh and like, the thing is, you're in that phase where you try to justify your lack of quandary, your lack of asking by saying stuff like, it's fine if I secure my place in society because I know for a fact that I can still be guaranteed happiness. Okay, that is true. You will be guaranteed happiness under the terms of society. You are not gonna be happy on your own terms necessarily. It's not necessarily sad if that's fine with you. I know a lot of people who are completely happy devoiding themselves of their agency and just relegating to culture and tradition and what society dictates them to do. A lot of them are fine with that. They're fine with being seen as a human resource and not a human individual. So it's okay. It's their thing. I personally, I'm not a fan of that. For me, but if that's what floats your boat, because I for one really I do not really give a hoo-ha about society, because the way I see it is that you are currently in the system, in the educational system, to what you might call this, to use it as a means to forward yourself within that hierarchy, within that social ladder.
Mhm.
You don't want to use it as, it's as if you are a gear in it, not a customer of it. There are different ways of looking at society. I suppose that, like, most people in this day and age would look at it as if they were customers, as if society is a big service, a big product, and they are simultaneously consumers and producers in that very loose economic sense. But some people probably don't see it that way. They probably see themselves as gears that make the machine turn. And if the machine runs smoothly, everyone's happy. What I'm saying here, Joby, is at the
What?
very least, don't say your philosophy is stupid. If assisting and helping society is what brings you happiness, go for it. But the fact that you preface your statement by saying it's stupid means you don't want to believe it.
Mm.
Yeah, get woke,
Mm.
Joby.
Mm.
Get woke.
Mm.
Get woke. Bobby, what I'm trying to figure out is why you want
What?
to do psychology.
Mm.
Of all the things, it could have been sociology, it could have been anthropology, it could have even been philosophy, but why psychology?
Why I want psychology? It's because, for one, I don't want to say I have an affinity
Is it
when
because
it comes
is it because
to.
someone's taking it also? Oh, no, nothing, sorry.
No,
Go.
it's not that. It's because ever since I was a kid, or not really a kid, ever since like high
There it is.
high
The,
school.
the the ever since I was a kid
No,
story.
not kid.
Just go on. It's cliche,
It's high
but go
school.
on.
It's high school,
Okay,
man.
yeah, yeah.
Ever since high school
I just
started, I started to have an affinity in understanding people.
why?
I don't know. Like I really don't know. I'm not kidding. I really don't know. Bear with me. I really don't fucking know,
Dude,
man.
everyone's so subug right now. What the frick?
No, these questions are not supposed to be easy to answer. I'll be honest.
It's like, okay, like in my perspective, I want to
Yeah.
see everyone around me grow, and that's what excites me in why I want to take psychology.
Yes,
Because
you can
like
watch.
you can see someone, it's like an anime, right? You see someone develop and it's like, oh shit, this is fucking cool, man, something like that. That's like the feeling I get when I understand people. That's why I want to take psychology, because once I fully understand what's happening to them, that's where I start getting excited.
You didn't answer my question. I
All right.
asked what specifically about psychology, and why not
Ah,
sociology? Why not
what
sociology?
specific?
Why not anthropology? Anthropology is literally the study of man.
Man.
Why not fucking philosophy, man? Like, do your boy a favor, man. I mean, yeah. What is a man? You know, that Plato tried to answer that question and he fucked up so bad.
Okay. So psychology is more akin to understanding self, right?
Not no,
Or behavior.
not at all.
Or okay. Shit. Uh,
Psychology is about the individual.
Individual.
Sociology is about the group, and anthropology is about the values that underpin the individual and the group. And philosophy is all of them at once. Hey, skirt, skirt. No, I'm just joking. No, don't hurt me. Anyone who's watching this in my block, don't hurt me. No, I'm joking.
Bobby wants to hit you right now.
No, I'm talking about my blockmates. I have blockmates who are in psychology, anthropology, and all of that shit. And I'm just taking like a giant dump on their fucking lawn. There's the Armadath.
I think we should end the podcast right now. So
Yeah.
so-
Save it as rant.mp4.
so
We will study it and see where we should improve.
so remarks, man.
I wanna stop the podcast to make way for our sponsors. We have a sponsor, by the way.
Oh, Bobby's our sponsor.
I fucking wish. I'm joking. We don't have a sponsor. This podcast is entirely self-funded. If we make money, all proceeds go to paying for my tuition fee and my rent and my utilities and my food and all of that, and making me not fucking die. I wanna survive one more winter here. Okay, so I'm leaving this place in like 2022. It cannot
It's a
come
long
any
time.
sooner. I'm here for a fucking while, dude.
So yeah, if you want to
Um,
catch up with our old podcast, you can head over to Stercus Occurrit official,
Well,
both YouTube and SoundCloud. So
yeah, plug. Hit them up with the URL youtube.com/Stercus
Stercus
Occurrit
official.
official. We're official because we're important. We have to denote ourselves in case anyone wants to copy us. So
YouTube is is only used for mainly for archives, since we're still a new podcast group. So our SoundCloud's only be used for our latest. So.
.com/Stercus Occurrit official. I don't know. Yeah, just if I want to plug one more thing, guys. I'm thinking about opening a Patreon because I'm so fucking poor.
Yeah, dude. Help my
I-
friend here.
I,
Dude, he's
I-
literally dying in Japan.
Kinda. It's not pleasant, but I'm dying is putting it roughly. I'm suffering, but I'm not dying yet. I cannot afford another month's rent right now, actually. So that's a shame, but it's okay. I can. But anyway, so I'm thinking about like I do my own thing where I write and make commentaries by myself, and I'm thinking about putting them up online for the whole world to see and laugh at. So if you guys want, yeah, it'll come in time. Right now I'm busy, and right now I'm dealing with a lot of dumb shit.
So yeah, that's it. Bobby, any words?
No.
Oh yeah, by the way, guys, I want you to you really need to watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Ogonokaze.
Stop plugging.
It's been the best anime the whole season. I have friends who think it's gay and like
I mean, it is, but you know, I still enjoy it nonetheless.
it's not the man, it's not the clothes, it's the man who wears them. I have friends who think it's like a fucking deviant's endeavor to watch this shit, and maybe he's right, but I love it anyway. So
Alright, that's
it's
it.
yeah. Good night, y'all. See you next whenever.